have one side that's shorter and smaller than the other. This is how you align the chip in the socket. You can see here you got a shorter one here and a longer one here, so you know it's going to go in like this. We're going to start on this end here. Carefully move the wires out of the way. Be sure not to disconnect anything. You put them there and slowly press down on each side evenly. You got to put a little pressure, but not too much, because you want to make sure you're lined up, and then you'll hear the snaps. See, both snapped in. Take the other chip, same thing, line up the socket, put them in carefully, and apply a little pressure, and there you go. Hear the snaps. Okay, we're almost there. And what we're going to do now is go ahead and install the processor. You got to be very delicate here, because you see this is an AMD processor. Might be able to see it there. We're going to reuse this thermal paste that's there. So if you can see a little bit through, it's an AMD processor. Now you look at the processor, it's lots of pins, so you want to be very careful not to bend any of them. You could damage them. If you break one of these pins, you damage your processor. Now the way to install it is you lift up. Here's your socket. You lift it up, and you'll see the socket move slightly. I don't know if you caught that. You see it move? That enables it to put it in an open position so you can install it. Now, if you look here at the processor, you see there's one corner is highlighted. It gives you like a little indicator, so you know which way to position it. And you'll have a matching pin right there, so you know to line it up as such. So when you put it in, the processor should gently fall in. Now you know it's secure, and you slowly put the leather down so it locks. There you go. Now the processor should not be able to come out, and there you go. It's locked in there. Now, as I mentioned before, these things run very hot, and we need to give it adequate cooling so the PC doesn't overheat. We do that one with thermal paste, which helps conduct heat, and we have a heat sink. It's a large heat sink that you see, it helps disperse the heat. Okay, so we're going to install the heat sink here. We have holes there that line up, so you can just gently put that in, as we mentioned before. We're going to go ahead and reuse the thermal paste. So I'll put that in so it lines up with the holes. I'm going to change my tip out again. And slowly, especially here, you definitely want to ensure you use that zigzag pattern, because the processor is very delicate. So don't tighten each side all the way, just tighten a little bit so it grabs. And once you have all sides, just go ahead and just apply it all the screws. We're going to tighten it just enough so you know it's secure. And there you go. Now the last thing we're going to install is a fan for the heatsink and the processor. Again, make note of the colored connection. This kind of has a little groove here, just slides right in. Get these cables out of the way a little bit. I'm actually going to turn around the case to make it a little easier to work. Oops. I'm going to go ahead and go ahead and get that connector in. There we go. I gently push that down. Move these cables over as I do that. There you go. It'll lock into place right there. This has a little bit of wire management here, so let's take advantage of it to help keep everything neat. And there you go. Everything is attached. And actually, we're going to do one last thing which we didn't do earlier. We have these. We have the power supply, and we're going to go ahead and secure that with these screws. And that'll be our final step. I didn't follow my own rule. I over-tightened, and then now I couldn't get that last screw in. So, let me just adjust that a little bit. There we go. Now we're going to put the case back together. Let's go ahead and stand it up. I'm going to put the front cover on. This just has one side's that snap and one side's that grab, so you just kind of basically put it in like a door. Line them up with these holes. So there you go, and then just snaps. So it should just snap into place here. That didn't grab, so let's try that again. Cover on. This you kind of need to get it in at an angle so it grabs. So give it just kind of put it in like that and then drop it. And tighten it up with these thumb screws. Again, not overly tight, just enough so it holds it in place. Alright, and there you go. Let's test it and make sure it works. First thing we're going to do is get some power and connect the monitor. Going to connect here the power there, and we're going to go ahead and connect the monitor to it. Yeah, just get it a little bit. Then we're going to go ahead and connect the keyboard to that, and we should be good. We're going to go ahead and turn it on. We got power. So you got monitor. Alright, that looks good. Let's press F10 to go into the BIOS. And looks good so far. Well, there you go. Let's look at the system information. Let's see what we see here. See, it's a compact. Everything we see the memory, the 4 gigs as we mentioned before. Let's see if we see the drives. No. Storage. There we go. Device. There you go. It sees the CD-ROM 160 gigs as we mentioned, and the DVD drive. So it looks like we're good to go. No errors. No. Everything came up good. Okay. So, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, Professor Martinez, and hope to see you soon.